Welcome to Oddball History, dipshits.
Right. Boom, boom, boom. I want to do it with the cloud of smoke coming through. Yeah.
It's vape, but
We vape.
who's to...
I do Zins, he
Who are we
vapes.
to-
We're like an odd couple, you know?
Well, we're using the, technology available to us.
Which is
We're on the
good.
cutting edge of nicotine addiction.
Not only podcasting.
We're not stuck in the past.
Yeah. We did smoke a cigarette together prior to the
We
show.
are a little stuck in the
Yeah.
past
One
with
foot
our
in, one
nicotine
foot out.
addiction because
Yeah.
it's important to honor your history.
It's very
while
true.
Also,
While honoring your
we just need
oddball
as much
history.
nicotine as we can get.
Yes.
I think is the point.
Yeah, it's a problem. But so today I'm excited to do this because we had a weird moment online. A lady commented on something 2 days ago, and she goes, "Look up the criminal prosecution and capital punishment of animals."
That's right.
That's all her.
Yeah.
All her comment said. No context. It was unrelated to the clip. Mm-hmm. She just went, "You should do this," and literally, we had already planned on the next
Yeah.
episode.
It was in the works.
It was in the works.
already.
So someone's spying on us. We're on to you. Add Honey Speak. Amanda Speakman. There you go.
Shout out.
Shout out Amanda Speakman.
We love your idea.
But yeah, we're doing animals on trial today.
Animals on trial, animals in court. I think we can all get behind that idea. I mean, it's going to get pretty grisly pretty
gets
quick.
grisly.
But
Yeah.
in the meantime, you can just imagine animals getting in shirts and ties
Yeah.
to go to their court
A la
appearances.
John Oliver with the
That's fun.
animals, dogs as Supreme Court justices.
A lot like that.
Just imagine that.
That's right.
And then when I warn you to skip ahead for a minute, do that.
Yeah. These animals, for whatever reason, they ran afoul of the law.
Yeah.
They were lawbreakers. They were scofflaws. They were ne'er do wells. They were
Devil
no
may
good
cry.
nicks.
No good nicks. That's a good one.
They were evil. I ran out of them, but they were.
Yeah.
They all, except for, I don't know, the rooster. We'll get into that later. They all had, some of them committed some pretty serious offenses.
Oh, yeah.
We won't sugarcoat that,
Like
but
the
it's just a matter of us now knowing, the animals didn't understand either the crime they had committed or the criminal proceedings
Of the
against
court
them.
they were forced to sit through.
I mean, maybe a couple of them did. A couple of the smarter
The donkey
ones.
was pretty smart.
The pigs might have.
Yeah.
The pigs knew exactly what they were
did.
doing.
So the first one is the Normandy pig.
That's right. And this is what can I say? What the fuck was happening in the Middle Ages in
First
France?
off, picture. It's going to be up here. It's before you know the outcome of the story. It is an objectively adorable picture. Just a little pig on trial with people yelling at him.
But what you have to know is France in the late Middle Ages was less a country and more just a battleground in an ongoing war between pigs and babies. And the pigs were running up the score. They were winning by a lot because the babies refused to abandon their pacifist ideals. No, I'm just kidding. It's because they were babies. So they were, I don't know why. They just left
imagining
their
that-
babies out a lot.
I'm imagining that as one of like the Matrix cartoons. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Just pacifist babies
Passing.
run afoul by the pigs.
Oh, those pigs. They took every advantage
They
of
did.
those pacifist babies. I just don't understand. Obviously, pacifism had nothing to do with it. Babies are as warlike as the rest of us.
yeah. Some would
but
say more so.
Were they just leaving their babies out a lot? Like,
Yeah.
were they leaving them on a windowsill like pies?
Have you seen those old pictures of babies? Like it was a thing where you would hang like a metal cage out of your window for your baby to
so
sleep
the baby could breathe
in.
fresh
They were
air.
just precarious all the time.
Yeah.
But hey,
Very scary.
You live and you learn. Eric Clapton, you know?
Eric Clapton, shout
Yeah.
out. Did
Tears
I
in
ever tell
Heaven.
y'all the time? I think I might have, but one time I was doing a show in East Texas, and they were like, "All right, guys, we're fixing to get the show started right after this last song." And the last song started, and it was "Tears in Heaven" by Eric Clapton, the song about his child falling out of a window to its death, and that everyone knows is about Eric Clapton.
Famous song.
Child falling out of a window to its death. And then we're like, all right, time to laugh.
It's why music and comedy shouldn't exist. That's an extreme example.
It is.
Maybe the funniest was it a 9/11 memorial, and then it was like panned to commercial break. It was on CNN or something, and it was like a Chili's commercial with like the towers falling, and then it goes to commercial, and it's like, you know I like my chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night.
And a little bit of chicken fried.
I do know that.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And
Never forget though. But so this lady went to the market or church or something.
A little bit of chicken fried.
She was getting a little bit of chicken fried, and she left her baby at home just by itself, and a pig had wandered in from
the hottest trend in France.
Yes,
leaving your baby alone in pig-infested areas.
They're always ahead of the trends. But and then the pig walked in the house, like nibbled on the kid, mauled its arm and face. The kid died of the injuries, and then the pig was taken to trial. The pig was apprehended and taken to trial.
That's right.
And they like did a legit. All of these involved like a legit court.
Yeah.
Like there was a judge, a well-to-do man in the town. There were lawyers present. There was juries. There was cases made both for and against the said pig.
Yeah, presumably serious people.
Yeah, one would assume.
You know,
But,
these people are living in the Middle Ages. They're middle-aged lawyers and judges. These are serious men.
Yeah.
And then there's
Funny hats.
There's a pig in a little.
The pig was naked. The pig was in pig costume. But then it was the pig was pronounced.
They hauled the pig in nude.
The pig was pronounced guilty, and then its punishment was to be hung in the market square by its hind legs. Seems extra mean.
Yeah.
But then, and just the strange twist is they put pants and breeches, or they put a jacket and breeches on the pig.
Yeah.
For what reason, one cannot know. But
One cannot know. I imagine it was said like they were like, hey, they're very serious. They were reading the thing. They were like, he shall hang by his hind legs on the gallows tree. And then one of the guys like elbowed that guy and was like, hey, we should put a little suit on him. We should put a little suit on him just for fun.
and then they did it.
And then they did
and
it.
the crowds cheered.
They loved it.
You hear that one and you're like, was it like a bad time economically for this village?
Yeah.
And they were just like, I think we should steal a pig for everybody. Anyone have anything bad happen with a pig lately?
Yeah.
You know, you imagine they'd eat it.
You would imagine
Yeah.
they'd eat it. That's good eating.
It's good
You
eating.
don't imagine you want the pig to go to waste just
Yeah.
because it's a criminal. I don't imagine murderer pigs.
No.
I don't imagine their meat tastes any worse.
No. It's maybe better.
Maybe better. Maybe the criminality gives
a
the
toughness.
meat. I was imagining like kind of a twang.
Yeah, it's
you
nice.
know, a kind of a.
We sentenced this pig to 6 hours in a smoker.
He has that I've killed for the pleasure of it umami when you pop
Maybe
it
that's
in
what umami really means.
It does. I think there's no doubt about it. But this is so. Yeah, in our research, this was happening all the time. I got 4 incidents of
Pigs on trial.
killing babies and then going on trial. There was one where they put 2 herds of pigs on trial as accomplices because the herds like stormed through the village after they had arrested a pig for murder, and they interpreted that as them like advocating for the murder of the kid. They were like, oh well, if you're gonna voice support like this, we're gonna haul your asses in too. And then but they eventually sprung them. They didn't get convicted.
You gotta wonder if it's...
The owner was pretty much like, hey, can I have my f***ing pigs back?
I get you had to make a point.
I do get it. I'll have a talk with them, but I need my goddamn pigs
It's like,
back.
I can't show favoritism to your pigs. They broke a law. We got to bring them in. We got to do the paperwork. It's going to happen.
That's right.
We're friends, Rick.
We're
I
by
get
the
it.
book.
Yeah,
we're by the
friends.
book down here.
I'm going to let them out.
Pig crime or man crime. Doesn't matter to us. That was 1379 in San Marcel Le Juicy. How's that for a name? Juicy.
Le Juicy.
Le Juicy.
Yeah. It's like a corny French
Sounds like
name in porno.
Yeah, it sounds like a sex act that,
The Le
that I
Juicy.
can't afford, baby. Le Juicy.
If you got to ask, you can't afford it.
Exactly. Then the 1386, that was the one we talked about with the suit. That was in Falaise. Then there was one in 1457 where a pig was convicted, and then they tried its piglets because the piglets were covered in the victim's blood as well. But then they were like, these piglets are too young to have murdered anyone. They have futures ahead of them. We don't want to.
We're not going to throw that away, you know.
Delicious futures.
delicious futures.
And especially because they're related to a murderer. That's umami.
That's the twang. Umami's in there.
And then there was one on 1494 in Claremont on Easter Day. A pig attacked a baby. So just another day in medieval France, you know. And they executed that one as well.
What a fun little game of guess who, of being a villager in medieval France and walking through and like who's hung in the square? Is it Terry? Is it a pig? Is it?
That's your only entertainment.
Yeah,
that's yeah.
But so we'll do one that has a happier ending. It's the Hartlepool monkey.
Hey, wait! I have one more
one
remark.
more pig.
Hey, do you think when that one group of pigs, when they were released, and again, I know this was a little bit of a difficult segment, with all the babies dying and the pigs being hanged by the neck.
And funny little jackets.
But I did want to say, do you think when that one group of pigs was released, do you think they were released of their own recognizance?
We'll be right back.
I just wanted to get that in there. I thought I could bring it to a screeching halt just for the recognizance line. I forgot all about that. You can't write that down and then not use it. You know, you gotta say it.
You gotta keep it. Okay.
So moving on to Hartlepool.
The Hartlepool monkey. This was a French monkey.
Great story.
French and
during the Napoleonic Wars.
Yep. French and Britain at each other's throats.
That's right. A French ship was wrecked in a storm off the coast of Hartlepool, and it washes ashore. There's no survivors at all.
All the men on the ship die.
All the men on the ship are dead. The only survivor is a monkey wearing a French army uniform that the fellas on the ship had as like a mascot.
First off, adorable.
Adorable. Love it. Great
a monkey
move
in an
by
outfit. Thumbs up from Jimmy.
By the French army. That's why that was forward thinking.
Yeah.
You know, if they had remained that forward thinking, you know, World War II might have got off to a very different start. If they had kept on, you know, with that innovation.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's innovation. So anyway, there's this monkey in a French army uniform. So they take it in and they put it on trial. But at a point, they're like, what are we doing? You know, this is a monkey.
This monkey's not a French spy.
It's a monkey, you know, and what are we doing? They freed it, took it out of the French uniform, popped an English army uniform on it, and made him the official mascot of the town of Hartlepool.
What a fun, happy story for Hartlepool, England.
And we're just kidding. Of course, he was convicted as a French spy and hanged right there on the beach.
On the spot.
It's a very troubling picture.
This is two times where, one, the picture of an animal in an outfit. Mm-hmm. One of the most adorable things that humanity can do is put an animal in an outfit. But then you hang said animal in that outfit, and it adds just a poor taste in my mouth. I don't know about you, Scott.
Yeah, I honestly, and I don't want to come across as too critical of Hartlepool here, but I feel like they could have handled this differently.
We had a couple ideas.
You don't have to hang the monkey, you know. I read that's generally considered an apocryphal story. Like, people don't think it actually happened. And there's a similar story from Aberdeenshire, Scotland. Only in their story, the monkey's the only survivor of a ship, and they can't get salvage rights unless every last soul who was on the ship is dead. So they hanged the monkey for that reason.
That one seemed like clearer problem solving rather than it being a spy.
Yeah.
Like, this monkey...
I think so.
This monkey knows things.
Look, if you're going to hang a monkey on the beach,
at least
God forbid, we are not advocating that kind of thing, but if you're going to hang a monkey on the beach, you want it to be for a good reason, you know, not for paranoia. You want it to be for money, cold hard cash. Any of us can understand that.
As Americans in capitalism,
any of us would hang 4 monkeys before breakfast.
If it meant food on the table.
That's right.
Sweet monkey meat.
That's right. And, you know, that's another podcast, but yeah. What about Murderer Monkey?
Yeah. Wow.
Now that is flavor.
Episode 5. flavor. All right, do you want to do the chicken one or the donkey one?
Let's do the chicken one.
Okay. Lead off on that one.
All right, so the year is 1474 in Basel, Switzerland. Somewhere a French pig is killing a baby. That is 1474.
It's in the time frame.
But anyway, Basel, Switzerland. So they mistake a chicken for a rooster. All right, they think this chicken is a rooster. So when the chicken lays an egg, they're like, "Well, that's clearly the spawn of Satan.
That's a devil, a chicken."
We got to kill this chicken. We got to kill the egg." And they're like, "But we're not maniacs. We're gonna have a trial first, obviously." So they haul the chicken in. They think it's the spawn of Satan. They think the egg might be a cockatrice.
Yeah.
I was reading about that. I had never heard of that before.
Is it a chicken demon?
It is. Yes, it's like it's a mythical creature that they're made by a toad or a snake's egg being hatched by a chicken. So I'm guessing in this case they're guessing Satan's a snake egg, and the chicken. That's the devil. We got to kill this chicken or rooster, as it were.
But we need to prove it beyond reasonable doubt first.
We do have to. Yeah, we have to be able to prove it.
This is a funny one, just because I love the hubris of it. Of just like, either I was wrong, or this elaborate, contrived conspiracy that I've thought up is true.
Yeah, it's devil.
It's got to be the devil.
It's got to be the devil. I have never got a chicken sex wrong. And they're like, "Do you want to double check it?" And you're like,
"No,
I don't see the need in that."
Yeah,
I've never got one wrong before. No, I think that chicken is just definitely Satan. I think that's what's going on here. As the town guy who labels the chicken sexes, I got to go out on a limb here and say I really think that's what's happening.
Once you corner a market in a medieval village, you really got to, stay strong with your convictions about being right on things. Like if you're the town chicken expert.
Mm-hmm. Protect that brand.
Yeah, it's branding.
Protect that brand at all costs,
Medieval social media, it's all about branding.
That's right. And for cockatrices, I read, they can be prevented by throwing the egg over the family home and landing it on the other side without hitting the house. So basically, you can kind of carnival game your way out of this thing. That doesn't sound very hard. An egg over a house? No. I think, unless their houses were bigger back then, I could chuck an egg over.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how many people messed up or it slipped and they hit the house. And then everyone in the family's just like, "God, what have you done?"
Yep. Oh, no. Well, we got to kill you now, too.
Well, you go on trial first, though. And they'll put you in a funny outfit and hang you.
You're no better than that evil pig rooster.
Yeah. This one cracked me up. It's a donkey, a French man named Jacques Ferron in the year 1750. Jacques Ferron in 1750 was he a donkey.
Yep.
He was.
They know his name. I thought that was really funny. So many names are lost to time.
It's the joke of you build 1,000 bridges, you build 100 clocks, yet you one goat.
That's right.
The goat. A classic for a reason. Also suck one cock, but.
This guy, you think of the oceans of people who have lived and died and we never knew their names. And we have this guy's name because he a donkey and was
May my name be remembered in history. In 300 years, may they do a podcast about me.
That's right. Oh my, and down in hell probably.
Yeah.
I imagine goat or donkey
was frowned upon.
I imagine when they're making that call up at St. Peter's lectern or whatever. I gotta imagine donkey
going, checks out, went to church, decent dude. Oh, had kids, good dad. All right. Hey, whoa, what's that?
Whoa. Wow.
Sir. Page 72. Please look at that one with me.
You couldn't have given me a heads up on that? You didn't think I was going to see it? You knew I was getting closer.
You just lead with that. I'm a donkey, but I'm a good guy. But so a common practice in this time was that if you got accused of buggery of an animal, they killed you and the animal.
Sure.
Tainted meat. I don't know the reasoning behind it. But so they had this guy on trial. He was found guilty.
Yeah, he was like, they charged him with sleeping with the donkey, and he was like, hey, I never slept with that donkey. As a matter of fact, we were up all night. And then he went for a high five, and guess what? Nobody high-fived him.
Nobody.
All the witnesses, like, they said they knew it was over right then.
I was waiting for a "we made love" joke there. Whoop, Scott zigging, Scott zagging. We're having fun.
Kind of took that line from when Shawn Michaels was saying that he Sergeant Slaughter's wife on wrestling when I was a kid. They were very jokey, the D-Generation X.
Yeah.
They were full of zingers, old-timey vaudevillian type zingers.
But I got this part from Nicholas Humphrey wrote an essay called Bugs and Beasts Before the Law. And he details this, where during the trial, the local priest came in and said that he had known the donkey for 4 years, and she had always shown herself to be virtuous and well-behaved, that she had never given occasion of scandal to anyone, and that therefore he was willing to bear witness that she is in word and deed and in all her habits of life a most honest creature.
Hell yeah.
So they let the donkey go free to live out their life.
I like to imagine the
Justice.
donkey and its attorneys doing one of those photos out front of the courthouse where they're holding their hands
It's like
in
the
the air.
end of like Lincoln Lawyer. It's like, we did it.
Yeah,
We
this
did
is
it.
the funniest thing. Like, how beloved was this? Like, that's the funniest shit. Is everyone loved this donkey so much? Like, you know, there were people who had been executed in this town whose loved ones were watching everyone go to bat for this donkey, and they're like, "What? You let my sister get murdered as a witch last week and didn't say shit?
You drowned Mary last week."
I gotta say, I like the donkey too.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should punish everyone, but we should let more people go. Okay.
I love that though. They're like, look, this isn't one of those whore donkeys. All right, this isn't one of those. You know, you don't have to worry about how this donkey dresses. All right, modest. In a word, modest. And I'm the parish priest, but it was like a lot of people. It was like a bunch of the townspeople were signing this letter.
Imagine the scene from Rudy.
Yes,
Where
this is
everyone
for
in the
Rudy.
town comes in and puts their jersey on and be like, that donkey didn't want to have sex with that fella.
This is for Rebecca
This
the
is
donkey.
for Rebecca the donkey.
She's a good girl.
But so that's
what they were saying.
That's a happy story.
And
where,
also, I imagine
minus the donkey. That's a happy story.
Minus the donkey.
that. Yeah.
Big caveat, but
Take that out of the story, which is the primary note of the story. It is a happy story.
yeah, that fair. It is kind of key to the whole. It does kind of put the wheels in motion of the story.
Yeah.
Not, you know. I also was wondering. I bet when everyone started standing up and being like, "I love the donkey too," I bet there was like some people that tried to glom on to the popularity of the donkey and use it to improve their own social standing. You know, like guys were standing up and being like, "I too attest to that donkey's goodness," and people are like, "Oh, shut the up, Frank. You don't even know her."
It's like, oh, should we all do anything? Like, I don't want to get left out.
Frank,
So
she
this,
wouldn't piss on your gums if your teeth were on fire.
why specifically the
Frank.
teeth?
I don't know. I never understood that phrase either. I don't know.
I've only heard that phrase. I wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire. I've never heard it specify down to the gums and the teeth.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it right.
I like the idea of your teeth being on fire.
I'm not sure.
And so not attacking
you know?
the fire, attacking the source of the fire, the gums. It's about
Yeah.
containment, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
See, and he's a pro. So
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bailed out, vindicated.
Exposure
My use-
comes before extinguishment. Remember that.
That's right.
Oh, you reseal
That's
people out
That's
there.
what I'm always saying
Yeah.
when I'm fighting fires.
There we go. Especially with piss on teeth.
That's right. with the old teeth pissing.
So there was another one that got out. I don't want to spoil now. It was Katya the bear. This is a Russian bear that got put through a trial and sentenced to 15 years in prison.
That's right. She killed a couple people, didn't
yeah, it was pretty grisly
she? She
crimes.
might have had good.
Grizzly bear.
Because it's like a grizzly.
Boom.
I do think it was a grizzly bear too.
July
so-
20th, Mount Enterprise, Texas. I'll be there.
That's right. Buy
But,
your tickets now.
Yeah. But
Live Nation. I don't think it's
I don't
live.
think it's Live Nation.
Find them though.
Yeah. What's the other one? It's Eventbrite.
Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Not on that either.
Better website? I don't know.
Go find the tickets though.
She did the 15-year sentence, and then they let it out and like took it to other bears, and we're just like, I don't go.
Yeah.
So they just made a bear go through court, go to prison, and then get out and reacclimate into life.
Yeah. It did go to high school while it was in prison. It was bettering itself. It's not like the state just let it go.
No, it was doing the program.
It was doing what it could.
Yeah.
No, I love that one. I love that I got to tell you from reading the sources on this, like we mentioned, there's not a lot of happy endings in animal trials.
No.
They're from the Middle Ages. You can guess how they usually end.
Yeah.
It's grisly, horrible death almost always. Although I will say, I saw one case where there was like a bunch of weevils.
Yeah. I remember.
And they were accused of like up some crop, and then they determined they were innocent and determined that for their trouble they should, as compensation, they should get another field to eat their way through.
Yeah. That's fair.
I appreciate that. A little fairness towards the weevils.
Yeah, you gotta have a win every now and then, you know.
Nobody ever thinks about the weevils.
They don't. One judge. The entire thing cracks me up of just.
It's the best.
This being taken seriously by everyone in town.
Yes, which leads me to my man Barthélemy de Chasneus. He was a guy who he became famous for representing a group of rats in a case where they were accused of eating all the barley in a village. Like the barley's like store thing of barley. Yeah. The rats were accused of eating all of it, and this man, who is Barthélemy de Chasneus,
he's like Chasneus.
That's right.
Am I right, guys?
That's what I'm saying. But he was like very important in the history of French law. He wrote some very important books in the history of French law. Yeah. But of course, his career started in a goddamn Pixar movie. Representing a bunch of rats accused of eating barley. And so that's kind of what he's known for. Because of when he lived, there's not a lot of details about him. So really the main thing is like he made his nut representing these rats. Yeah. And that's kind of all there is. They have it, his books, but it's mostly the rat thing. I got to imagine he hated talking about the rats after a while. Because it's all anyone he ever met wanted to talk about once they heard about it.
It's like Wonderwall. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want to play fucking Wonderwall. I get it. I've written other songs.
He's like, it's not that weird. It's not that weird.
Everyone deserves their day in court. Am
I seriously the first person you've ever met who's represented a group of rats in a court of law?
Successfully?
Because if I am, I got to tell you got to get out more. I'm not the weird one here.
You're the weird one.
For being an attorney to rats. You're the weird one for having never lived such a sheltered life that you have never come across an attorney representing a group of rats.
There's this all reminds me of just a shout out to episode 37 where we did duels, famous duels of history.
Oh yeah.
Where there was that one where a guy murdered a guy and the guy had a dog and the dog was mean to his murderer. Mm-hmm. And so they let them duel in like a trial by combat because they were like, that dog's mean to you. That dog's not mean to anybody. You killed that guy's owner. Yeah. And then the dog won the duel, and instead of getting his throat ripped out, he admitted to the murder, and then was, trialed and sent to prison. So
the dog got justice.
Yeah.
He is the Wyatt Earp of dogs, really. Yeah. When you think of it.
Take that, Air Bud. All right. There's no rules in the book that say a dog can't play duel.
He solved the crime. He got the conviction.
Yeah.
By attacking the man.
Walk tall, but with a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And
man, then, what a badass!
Yeah. Did you have any other fun facts of
episode
animal legality you wanted to do?
No, there were some that I only found a line of, but they were really funny. The sparrows that were put on trial for chattering during a church service. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. And a lot of these feel like HOA complaints.
Yeah.
Like you can't imagine the court system being so hung up with people being like, "Hey, quiet down now." Isn't that a little too loud? Like a medieval noise complaint led to sparrows being murdered.
That's right. In droves. They probably, I don't know how they did it, but I got to imagine they figured out some way to be really awful about it.
Yeah.
If reading history for this podcast has taught me anything.
Yeah.
Is that people always find the way to do
Creative
things in the
ways to
most
kill
awful
things.
way
Yes.
they can, you know? It's a credit to the human spirit, really.
Where our innovation, our
find a
creativity,
way.
we will find a way. Whether that's how to hang a pig. They're a stocky creature, not a good neck. I understand why the hind legs were used, but still an innovative knot must have been constructed.
Yeah.
Because that pig was fighting, I'd imagine.
Well, and also a thing I thought I had reading the pig ones is killing these pigs in these ways, is it any worse than how they were going to kill the pigs anyways?
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
The pigs are like, fucking bring it on. What are you?
What have you done?
We were
I've
raised
seen
in
you kill
this.
thousands of me.
They hardened the pigs' hearts.
Yeah, which is a shame.
I think is the point.
That's not umami.
That's why they start. I think that's probably why they started that war with the babies.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Why
It's
they
all-
fired that first shot.
That's the fun thing about Oddball History is at the end, the puzzle pieces always fit together.
Yeah.
So the pigs were living in constant fear of the humans, and then they sought their revenge and were hung for it. But it's the beauty in trying, you know? The pig uprising was not a success.
Yeah,
That's a tangent I didn't expect to say out loud.
you know, you think you just put the baby on a higher shelf. I don't know.
Don't victim blame.
I don't know. Look,
You're victim blaming.
I'm just trying
piece
to
of shit.
brainstorm
Yeah.
for these
Think of
medieval
solutions.
peasants. For these medieval French peasants,
Yeah.
who knows who could hear this, you know?
Yeah.
And they could need this advice. Maybe a higher shelf. Maybe, you know,
A door. A closed door at the front of the house.
Hey, how about a big old Yeti cooler with an air hole poked in the top?
Ooh.
Not bad.
On those hot summers.
They'll have to steal it because they're peasants.
Yeah, of course.
They
They're
don't.
expensive.
They can try to give Bucky some grain. Bucky's
Yeah.
cashier is going to be like, we don't. What
is this?
Do you think Bucky's takes grain? I doubt they do.
I think they could do a little
If
bartering.
any gas station did, Bucky's
would be the one.
But I've only been once.
You've only been to Bucky's once?
I've only been one time. We were going
enjoy
to
Buc-ee's.
like a show in
Who has a joke? Is it Lawrence?
East Texas.
That,
Yeah.
Like, I don't need, what was it? Something about, I don't need my bathroom to have a theme park attached to it or something.
Yeah.
His joke's better, but.
Yeah, I think that joke was spawned on this show on an earlier episode. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, Buc-ee's
fuck
is
with Buc-ee's.
insane, dude.
I like it.
When I was there, there were the mascot was there, Bucky.
Ooh,
and
that's a
all
big
the
day.
kids were losing their shit.
yeah.
They were going Bucky, and sprinting over to him. It was a really wild scene.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, all right. When I was a kid, we only gave that treatment to real celebrities. All right, like Bugs Bunny. All right, at Six Flags.
I think
he's a
food's
star.
Okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's better than most gas station food.
I didn't even get food actually.
Yeah.
I just got coffee.
The food's better than gas station food.
They have a good coffee station.
They have a great coffee station. Every drink you could possibly imagine. The bathrooms are plentiful and clean. There's always an open pump.
Yeah, that's like their whole deal, right?
Yeah.
They're very proud of their bathrooms.
It's too big. There's always space. Then they got like a knick-knack section where on my fridge is a magnet of two pigs having sex, and it says "making bacon."
Nice.
So that's what speed I'm throwing at.
Hell yeah.
Buc-ee's. That's the batting cage I need to be in.
That's just good, clean fun.
It's good, clean fun. Good, clean fun.
That's good, clean fun.
Yeah.
It's like, it is about fucking. We're not coming out and saying it.
Yeah.
It's just like an elbow in the ribs, you know? A wink.
Wink and a nod.
A wink and a nod. Making bacon
Tip of the hat.
with some pigs. Nowadays, pigs are more interested in making bacon and less interested in killing pigs, or babies. I mean, pigs and babies now live in peace.
a beautiful. Is that because of the subjugation? We just have gotten better at
putting our babies on higher places.
They took your advice over the hundreds of years. They've just found higher baby shelves.
Yeah.
Kept the pigs outside.
At a point in like 1914, they were like, you know what? Maybe we should keep the pigs and the babies separate.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that? Maybe fewer pigs would eat our babies' faces off
if we kept them at separate levels.
Yeah.
This is the kind of problem solving I like when Scott smokes just the right amount of weed.
It takes, it's a delicate balance to strike.
He's titrated it down over the years, and God damn it, he nailed it today.
Yeah, it's all, it's all trial and error.
Yeah, all trial and error. But so let's do some goofing around. You got any little new bit goofing? Do you got anything going on?
Oh yeah, I was doing a thing. I was thinking about, I vape sometimes.
Yep.
This Juul here. I'm a Juul man.
What's the second one? You have 2 items here.
This is like weed.
Oh.
And this is just nicotine, a Juul, And I know everyone there's like a real like hacky to the it started out as cliche, and I think it's crossed over into hacky. But the old line about like, oh, it looks like you're sucking a robot's dick,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I always think I disagree with that. And here's where I take issue with that line of thinking. All right.
Yeah.
Like, why do these people think that cyborgs, which is like the proper name for robots that have human
dicks.
Characteristics such as dicks.
Okay.
Why do you think cyborgs would have such tiny and weirdly shaped cocks? You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me
if it's like an advanced AI creating a thing, it's going to have an awesome hog.
Listen, exactly.
Yeah.
You're telling me we get to a place where robots are walking around among us and talking us into sucking their dicks. And yet they're going to be tiny and weirdly shaped. I
love that. It really,
they made the robots self-aware, but they didn't give them a reasonably girthy hog. In what world does that make sense?
None of them.
And then I wrote,
that really changes. I've brought the Matrix up twice now, but it would really change the Matrix movie. And just those robots flying around, just dongs flapping in the wind.
I would love to see that edit.
Yeah,
I would watch it. It would become like legendary, like the butthole cut of the Cats movie. Did you ever hear about that? That there was
Photoshop
supposedly a version where all the cats have realistic cat buttholes. I don't know if it's real, but I heard about it.
I see why they got away from that.
I heard about it.
Have you ever seen those videos
at the time?
Chickens and birds with cartoon arms?
Oh, yes.
Adorable.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
I love those.
We got a new idea.
Yep.
For Wall-E. A Wall-E reboot with just a soft wiener flopping around.
Yeah. It would be they could get them lifelike,
Yeah.
It's like
a little too lifelike.
You really think this is what they're going to be packing?
No, God, no.
This?
Guffaw.
Try having an imagination, all right? Why do you have such little faith in the tech innovators of this country?
Yeah.
That's my question.
I fucking love that premise. That is silly and fun.
RoboCop does not have a dick as far as I remember.
No,
but if he did, it would have been...
Maybe he did. Did he have a cod piece or was
realistic
that robot down
and meaty as hell?
Meaty. Mean.
I truly don't remember.
It'd be a little too big because the man would have made it.
I could have looked it up. I probably should.
RoboCop's penis?
I probably should have looked it up. I think he didn't, though. I think it was like because his whole body was destroyed from just getting shot to shit in the beginning. I think that was the whole deal.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what made him a good cop, maybe.
His meaty cock or
dog got shot off. He only thinks of police work now.
No longer distracted.
He has a big metal plate where his dick used to be. And he just
solves crimes.
He just solves crimes.
Yeah.
If he allows himself any recreation, it's watching old Columbos. And he calls it fun, but he's like studying Columbo. Yeah. He's like taking notes, learning how to be a better cop.
It's all about practice.
Because his cock got shot off by Red from that 70s show. Was he the guy who shot?
I think
who
so.
shot him? He was one of the bad guys I know,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the specific
We're
shooting incident.
keeping it in.
Yeah, we're keeping it.
I had one in kind of the animal vein. Scott didn't like the beginning of this story, but it was the one where my dad was the chicken salesman in the 70s.
Oh, that was the one I did like, but I didn't express
Yes.
that I liked
Yes.
it good.
He just quietly sat there while I said it.
No,
and
it was a funny
and
story.
then later went, yeah, that's okay. And I was like, oh, all
I
right,
wasn't
I'll
the
kill
right.
myself.
I wasn't the right amount of high that day.
We're going to nail it
I
today.
hadn't.
But it's so the guy calls him and is like, hey, do you do halal chicken? And this is my dad in the 70s, a man who called sushi bait. That was one of his favorite jokes. Wrong fish, they call that bait. He
Hell
did
yeah.
not know what halal chicken was, or halal meat, which is like Islamic preparation of meat. You got to kill it in a certain way. It's got to face Mecca. And so he calls this guy in Louisiana. The guy in Louisiana goes like, oh yeah, I do that. And then he can hear him like muffled on the phone, like cover it and go like, Larry, point they little heads to the east. So the chickens can face Mecca before they're slaughtered. And then my dad goes, got it, which is a funny story on its own. There's points in there to punch up. But I do like the idea of halal meat, of giving the animal a chance to turn to Mecca. Like, are you essentially one of these animals on trial, like holding it down, going like, repent, repent?
Yeah, and I don't. Some of the chickens aren't Muslim, so they end up in heaven with 72 virgin chickens.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, where did this even come from?
That'd be funny to add the hacky line of that.
They're
Of these
forcing-
chickens in heaven. It's like, I wanted to be here with one slut. What do we?
They're booting them into paradise.
I think I'm going to
non-
do that and add the chicken line there, and then do hacky Middle Eastern jokes from the early 2000s, but it's the chicken saying them.
Yeah, so that's all right.
I think, God damn it! I think we just wrote a joke, everybody.
Yeah. And dedicated to your chicken who
We lost a
died.
chicken.
There
We
was
lost a
a chicken. It was
I saw your
it was a gruesome
face,
execution, but they had a fair trial for it.
If I saw you in heaven. Yeah, natural causes.
I was doing a
We
bit-
lost a duck. We're out of ducks. 5 chickens left. Still plenty of eggs. The ones that are there are healthy.
It's like that part in the movie Life when they're getting older. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, they're getting older, and they do that montage to the Wyclef Jean song, and everyone keeps disappearing. They either die or get freed from the prison farm, but it's to show how much time is passing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that here, but with
But with chickens and ducks.
but with chickens
Yeah.
and ducks.
The ducks went in pretty quick succession. They were a gift to us. What a terrible gift to give someone.
Good gift.
It was from
you
our
know?
neighbors. They gave us these 4 ducklings because we had the chickens
It's
already.
an imposition, and then it dies.
And then they all died
Have
slowly.
a great time.
Yeah.
Have a great time
They
watching
were,
these things not acclimate to your back.
The first one of the dogs got, and then there were a male and 2 girl ducks, and it was upsetting when you see duck sex happen in the wild. It is not kind nor romantic.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
a lot of, it's
I've
like
seen a little
high
bit of
school
that.
bully of like holding the head under the water.
I had a friend at another friend's wedding, day after wedding breakfast thing.
Yeah.
But we were standing out in his backyard with all of him and his new wife's like family, and my friend goes, "Dude, do you know about duck dicks?" And
Weird little corkscrew
I
things.
didn't, and he showed me right there, and so I've known about them since.
It'd like finish and kind of like hop off, and it'd be on its side in the water, and just this thing like floating around.
Oh.
Real squirrely situation. Not good, but rest in peace, guy. Never named the ducks. The ducks had names. They were like me and my friends' names, but we never called them that. We have one chicken was named that had an eye infection. She had went to the vet, which I never imagined spending $150 on a chicken. It really blows out all the savings on eggs I've had, all the construction project, the feed, and a vet bill. But the chicken didn't have a name, and they were like, "What's the chicken's name?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's a chicken." And then it had an eye infection.
They're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Did they?
So my wife named it Heather because at that time there was a Real Housewife that had a black eye from being struck.
Nice.
Our chicken had a black eye, so it was also Heather.
From being struck.
Yeah. It was an infection, but the eye thing was there. This isn't. You're not going to corner me on this.
Wait, the Real Housewife was struck?
The Real Housewife was struck.
By who?
Either her husband or something.
Holy shit.
It was
Good God. I didn't know the Real Housewives got that dark.
Andy Cohen. The man.
Is he equipped to handle this?
The man runs a program, all right? He's about it.
Fair enough, you know.
Do you have any other bits or things you saw?
Oh yeah, I was my old movie of the week. The movie I watched this week, weird old movie, was State Fair from I think it's 1945.
Okay.
But this part of State Fair I loved. All right, it's following this family as they have a great time at the fair, as you do, and
everyone does.
And this one of the girls is being romanced by this guy, and they're lying in like a meadow together on a blanket, and it's very romantic. And then the guy says to the girl out of nowhere, he goes, "Hey, what about your old man's hog?" And then
I imagine it's the old man is a farmer and has a show pig at the state fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this. Later, it turned out, of course, that the lady's dad was a hog farmer, and he had a hog in the fair. He didn't want to see her dad's dick.
Can you imagine me suddenly turning to some girl and blurting out, "Will you marry me?" Oh, I can see you wouldn't. Well, Bobby Locke, you've made a very wise decision. Anyway, I'd be no good for you. No good at all. Of course, you'd be awfully good for me. Say, what about your old man's hog?
It wasn't a dick joke in the movie.
No, not at all. It just cracked me up real good.
Yeah.
You know, funny line's a funny line.
Say, what about your old man's hog?
But it made me think, it's crazy, like how you never know what you're saying. Like if what you're saying could be like a total laugh riot in the future because you're using some term that will take on a different meaning in the future, you know, like I don't know, like if I said like, oh, this morning for breakfast, I was slurping down a spicy Italian sausage.
Slurping, yeah.
You know, like that's an innocent thing to say now, but who knows about 10 years?
I don't think
that could take on.
I don't think that's that innocent now, and I don't think 10 years is a long enough time.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm slurping down a thick, veiny sausage.
I get the spicy Italian sausage at a discount because my cousin works at the grocery store and the butcher department as a boner. That's real.
Yeah, he's gonna get promoted to deboner soon, but for now he's just putting bones back in.
That's a real name.
I'm doing a heavy lifting and moving class with like fire department stuff. We're doing like a multi-day training thing.
Get swole.
And we're talking about picking up things and like supporting loads. And so big load has been said 100 times. And 80% of those times, me and this one guy, Eric, always are just it's a very serious environment. And we always just kind of make eye contact real quick, like the most childish thing ever. It's just big load. And we go,
I honestly,
just little kids.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time, like with names and credits. There's always funny names and credits that I'll snicker at.
Which I don't think we didn't plan on doing the weird movie of the week. We have just both happened to see terrible movies.
That's right. Yeah.
I love putting on.
And State Fair is a great movie. Shout out.
Was it actually good or was it just old?
No, I liked it. It was. Yeah. I mean, it's like an old music. It was just really weird, and you know, it's a good time. And they have that hilarious hog line. How could you not love that? Why make a shirt out of that?
Say, what about your old man's hog?
That's our first shirt.
Why didn't
we can just steal that from State Fair?
Hey, what about your old man's hog? I'll share the clip. I think I shared it already on my Twitter, but somewhere.
We'll put it out.
I recorded the TV when it happened. I backed it up and recorded it.
I love you just no, we got it.
That's the kind of comedy gold.
I'm saving this.
That's the kind of comedy gold that I stop my day
for posterity's sake.
Exactly.
The future generations must know.
They have to know.
Hey, what about your old man's hog?
Hey, what about your old man's hog? I was going to reach out to the actor who said that too to have him on the podcast, but it turns out he died 30 years ago. So probably won't happen.
Yeah.
No,
The ghost of that guy. I love playing like I usually stick with like comedy horror genre, because the game is to put on a movie at the fire station that people will enjoy, but they will bitch about it first.
Okay.
So it's like it's got to be funny enough or have enough nudity to like keep your interest, but it is bad.
Okay.
And so I put on two. A winner was Frankenhooker. Have you ever heard of Frankenhooker?
I have not heard of Frankenhooker.
I don't know. Can we just? I'll put pictures and stuff up. I wonder if we're allowed to just play a trailer of it. Trailer will be here. Enjoy.
In 1931, the world was horrified by the motion picture Frankenstein. In 1935, horror turned to terror with The Bride of Frankenstein. In 1990, the makers of Basket Case and Brain Damage bring you...
Want a date?
Frankenhooker. Jeffrey Franken has a plan.
I just want to bring you back, Elizabeth.
He has the ingenuity.
I need female body parts.
He has everything he needs, except the raw materials.
Just hold still. Excellent. Oh, my God. Bunyan!
Wow! Jeffrey's creation is alive.
Looking for some action?
Oh, yeah.
She's sexy.
Want a date? You going out?
I'm on my way home, but thanks anyway.
And she's sutured to please.
Listen, I'm looking for a very tall, attractive woman. She's purple. She's got fresh scars on her. She's in the bar!
Now, a motion picture like no other. A tender story of love and romance.
Want a date?
A gripping tale of lust and revenge. Frankenhooker.
Incredible.
Some assembly may be required.
I've got to imagine it's in the public domain.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Or we won't do that, but we probably played it. So it's about this like guy, and quickly in the movie, his wife is killed in like a backyard party in an awful lawnmower incident. She gets run over by the lawnmower.
Oh boy.
And then he hides the head, so they never find the head. But then this guy's like a mad scientist type dude. So he has this plan. He keeps the head. He's going to put together the other body parts of these women.
Okay.
And then create like the perfect body for his wife. Because they make like six fat jokes at this lady's expense at the beginning of the movie. And she is a beautiful lady. Like not fat at all.
Yeah.
But they keep calling her like voluptuous and making big bone jokes and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a mind fuck. Like there's in Mary Tyler Moore, they're always making jokes about, like Rhoda always makes jokes about how she's fat. She's like the tiniest, but she's not as tiny as Mary, of course, but who is?
Who is? That expectation on somebody?
Yeah,
Come on
get out
now.
of here.
So he goes to like the red light district to meet hookers, and he like gets a private party with them where he pretends to be a doctor, and he has this party with like 8 girls. And he's playing doctor because he's like measuring their legs and feeling their breasts and getting.
And they're like, "Are you a mad scientist or something?"
They literally do that voice.
Want a date? Looking for some action?
Holy shit!
It's that bad. What kind of doctor are you?
That is the classic. I think that's the classic woman of the night voice.
Yeah. But so
you're so good to me.
Oh, so in order to get leverage with the pimp to like, because he plans on killing all these women and taking their body parts. So he creates super crack in his lab, but the problem is he tests it on a rabbit and the rabbit blows up. So he has this super crack that gets you higher than any other crack, but you will explode if you overdo it.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor. So he measures all these ladies, picks his parts, and then they find in his bag the crack. Now, these are women of the night. Of course, they love crack.
Sure.
Wow. Holy shit. What's this? Holy shit, it's jobs. It's so many jobs. Holy shit, holy shit.
So they all immediately go insane and start doing all the crack.
Oh, no.
And then, as you can expect,
Oh, no.
they all explode.
It's like throwing rice at a wedding. Leaving super crack around hookers. Like rice at a wedding at a damn bird sanctuary. That is
not good.
Business is about to pick up.
But clearly all the hookers would like turn into mannequins for a second and then explode.
Oh, I love that. Hell yeah.
But then, so he gets all the body part. He gets out of there quickly after all the hookers explode. He runs out of a fire escape. And then it works. He gets the head back on his wife's head on all these hooker body parts.
And this guy is the protagonist of the movie.
Yes.
He's not.
And he is very off-putting.
Yeah, it seems like it. I gotta admit.
Like, you can see how this could be tongue-in-cheek and funny, but he is none of those things.
No, he seems like history's greatest monster.
Yes, he was a monster. But then he gets her back, but she thinks she's a hooker because she has all the body parts. So she goes back to the whorehouse, like Frankenstein walking, and sleeps with a John and kills him. And then he finds her, brings her back, but the pimp follows them back. But he left detail, and the pimp comes in and kills him. But he left detailed notes so the wife knows how to reanimate him. But the serum...
Didn't think of that, did you,
the
dipshit?
serum is estrogen-based.
Oh, no.
So
He's about to get a taste of his medicine.
She used the hooker parts, and he has a beautiful lady body with his head.
See, they redeemed themselves. I think.
Happily ever after.
You know what?
And
that's a good lesson.
I was listening to a video about it today where there's like a vaguely feminist message throughout
Put
it.
that in your misogyny pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, like there's
I say to this mad scientist.
Put that in your misogyny pipe and smoke it. Because there's like one scene where he's watching the TV about like them trying to legalize prostitution. And he has some very out of the blue speech about how prostitution should be legal. You're endangering these women by not making it legal.
All right.
It's like 20 seconds of the movie. It is not referenced at all ever again.
Yeah.
It just
At
had
the end, he looks directly in the camera and goes, "Pass Proposition 212."
That literally kind of what, but that was good. And then there was one called we watched called The Invisible Maniac. This was in 1990. The background music sounds like the main menu of a King's Quest game, like an original one.
Oh, nice.
It was very weird, but
I gotta say, that's a scary concept right off the bat. The invisible maniac. I like my maniacs visible.
That's very true. We all do.
Keep an eye on them.
Yep. But
if they're invisible, they can just shove you out of nowhere. You know. Trying to walk down the street.
Hey, who is that?
My imagination is them just rubbing me up a little bit. Like, hey,
whoa,
walk it.
What are you, a maniac?
Hey.
So this guy's a doctor. He tries to create a thing that makes him invisible. He fails, and he thinks he's made it, and he injects himself with it in front of a bunch of other doctors, but then it doesn't work.
Oh,
and
damn.
so all the doctors point and laugh at him, but he was bullied
shit.
by his mother growing up. So then he proceeds to just murder all these people. Like half of them are ladies, and it's just like bad 1990 movie of like the punch with like pow, with like a lady flies through it. Yeah. Shit like that.
That sounds really good.
But
I want to watch it.
So he goes into hiding and uses a fake name and becomes like a high school science teacher. And here's where it takes a strange twist: is the like first hour of the movie is him expressly talking about how hot all these kids are.
Jesus Christ!
He always calls them nubiles. And there is a scene. All the actors are clearly like 30-year-old ladies, but there's like 7 shower scenes with them. The nudity in it is gratuitous. There's just a tit out every 4 minutes.
From the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, he has an inappropriate relationship with many of the students. The principals, like, they catch the janitor looking through a peephole into the girls' locker room showers that then a boy uses and then the teacher uses, and the principal catches the teacher using it, and he's just like, "Oh, I dropped a coin." And then the principal was a lady that also banged one of the students, and you're just like, this is, and it's a bad movie.
What is happening at this school?
We're like, this guy wrote it clearly with like just a fantasy in his head.
Yeah.
That didn't raise any red flags for anybody.
If a school has ever needed Morgan Freeman from Lean on Me more than this school.
But then he figures out how to make the invisibility potion or whatever, and he injects himself. Of course, his first 2 missions are to steal a high school girl's panties and then from her house. And then he goes in the shower and pinches their butts while they're showering. Problematic.
This guy is a deviant.
Yep. And then the kids...
with restraint. I don't know why.
Wait for the next sentence.
At least he stopped at pinching. I don't know why I was giving him credit for that.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. Maybe it's the power of invisibility. Maybe I've heard about what this man is capable of, and it's so much worse than a pinch. But I thought it was going to be worse, to be honest. When you were,
it's a very lighthearted movie.
Pinch.
So then in the next scene, he murders everyone.
Well, there you go. See?
It really ramps up. But so he goes through murdering all these kids.
See, I'm glad I didn't scold him too hard for the pinching thing now, because I would have had no juice left for the murdering everyone thing.
Now, hey, you maniac, you invisible maniac.
You invisible maniac, you.
So the movie ends with him, one of the kids he can't kill, but the teacher makes a run for it at his apartment. And he's like packing up his bags. He's going to go on the run. And then the kid shows up with a shotgun. And it's like, I got you now. But the guy's got one last thing of invisibility potion. So he pokes himself. And then he's fighting an invisible guy in this bedroom. And then the kid falls down and sticks himself in the butt with the invisibility potion too. So now they're both invisible. And they're both fighting. It's a confusing scene.
Damn.
But then they wrestle the shotgun and it pans away to the cops walking in. And there is clearly the kid's body with its head blown off. And the cops just go, clearly a suicide. Thank God that saved the city some money on a costly trial.
Oh, no.
Our work's done here. So he got away with it.
Holy shit.
He's on the run.
Jesus.
Yep.
Now, is this man the protagonist of the movie?
I guess he was the main character for sure. But so
Jesus, what a maniac. An invisible maniac, as it were.
Everyone sat through Frankenhooker and enjoyed it. It was funny and campy. And then the invisible maniac lost some people. We had some walkouts.
You know how they handled the Invisible Man was a bit of an invisible maniac too in the Silent movie.
Yeah. When
he first went invisible, it's a very funny scene because he goes invisible and then the first thing he does is he shoves a guy on the street. Maybe that's where that came from. He shoves a guy on the street and
what
then
was the Invisible Man
there's
made?
like a hot dog cart and he pushes it over. He's just being a dick to people. Like, that's all he wanted to do the entire... He gets this great power, and he's like, I'm just going to give people the business. All day, every day. That's what I'm using my superpower for.
I love that saying there. I'm just going to give people the business.
That's a great saying. Oh, but you know how they dealt with him?
Let me see when the Invisible Man came out.
In the snow. He was having a bit of a reign of terror on the town, and then it snowed, and so they could track him, and he ended up like they knew where he was because of the tracks. It led to a barn, and I think they just burned the barn down.
Was it a remake of a 1998 film?
No, this was like a silent film.
Oh, okay. Let me see what we got. 1933. There we go. Okay. All right. So clearly a play on words with the Invisible Man. Yak.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. We're coming to a close. Do you have any shows coming up?
Coming to a close. Yeah, I do. On Sunday, I will be at the Addison Improv.
Hell yeah.
One of the and Friends shows.
With who?
Shit, I forget. I forget, actually. Come on out and see for yourself.
It's a mystery.
Because I'm being a bad showmate.
Whatever.
And then I'm featuring for Q at Comedian Q at the Oak Cliff Cultural Center, Monday, July 8th. So
Hell yeah.
Sunday and Monday. And then Thursday, July 11th, I'm at Fort Worth Hyenas for a 325.
Boom.
And Saturday, July 13th, I'm with our old friend Pete Young at Dallas Comedy Club. No, wait, that's a different show. I'm with Reggie French at the Dallas
Clean
Comedy
comedy.
Club.
A little earlier.
That's right.
It's good
Early
for the family.
show.
Bring the family out.
Did Pete's show recently. Good time.
Yeah.
Shout out Pete.
Pete's such a funny guy.
He is.
But
Good-
so I
good
really
man.
I'm headlining July 20th in Mount Enterprise, Texas. Yellow Rose Canyon. It's an RV park. It's an event space. It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's going to be fun. So
Oh, yeah.
if you live in East Texas, come on out. And then July 25th, I'll be at Hyenas in Fort Worth doing a 325.
Hell yes.
So, hell yeah.
Hell yes.
So with that, we bid you adieu.
We bid you adieu.
Kisses and hugs.